What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Review back, man, with another reaction, man. Today we got Jacksonville drill lyrics that really happened, man. No cap.
Even though drill originated in Chicago, it's spread all over the world. From New York to London to Jacksonville, Florida, drill has become a worldwide genre.
I didn't just get it, but I just
the Jacksonville scene
got
is
the adapter where I can plug in USBs and shit. So now I'm finna start recording on this shit.
Exploded over the past year, mainly due to the beef between Fulio and Young and Ace. Here's a closer look at some Jacksonville drill lyrics that actually happened. I would've got a job, but I ain't trying to go like P4K.
Oh, man.
Walk in the stock, Whopper with the chopper, featuring J. Breezy.
Right
Whopper with the chopper is a Jacksonville rapper affiliated with Young and Ace and the ATK gang. Whopper is featured on the now famous track Who I Smoke, where the gang raps about smoking on the ashes of real ops over a beat that samples 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton. But before that song made headlines, Whopper was dissing other enemies in his own music. This bar is from a 2020 track called Walk in Stock featuring J. Breezy. Whopper is referencing a member of a rival Jacksonville gang called P4K and a dead rapper named Jordan Russell, aka Jump Out Squeeze.
Damn.
Jump Out Squeeze was shot and killed while waiting in line to apply for a job at the Amazon Fulfillment Center on June 29, 2020. Witnesses said that two men popped out of a silver car and shot the rapper several times.
Just stop the car, I'm hopping out.
Witnesses said that two men popped out of a silver car and shot the rapper several times, while a third person acted as the getaway driver. Two other people standing next to him were also grazed in the shooting, but were taken to the hospital without any life-threatening injuries. No one was ever arrested for the murder of Jump Out Squeeze, but he was an alleged gang member of Jacksonville gang P4K, who are known to beef with at least two other gangs in the area, ATK and NHG. Not long before he was killed, the rapper released the tracks 23 Dead Ops and Ops Shit, where he joins in on the drill trend of taking shots at rival gangs he's currently beefing with. He disses real dead ops like Quan from ATK, Young and Ace's brother, and accuses J. Breezy of NHG of snitching and switching sides on his gang. So it makes sense that Whopper with the chopper, who's associated with ATK, would team up with J. Breezy from NBK to diss a dead op. It seems like Jump Out Squeeze may have been trying to turn his life around and land a legal job. But when you make a diss song referencing many active gang members in your city, you have to expect there are going to be some consequences at some point. If you thought that was crazy, this next Jacksonville artist rapped about a triple homicide that happened outside a sushi restaurant after a birthday dinner. Went out to eat on his birthday, both shot dead, 3 dead in the worst way. When I see you, Fulio. Fulio was another poppin' rapper from Jacksonville who's associated with a gang called KTA, which is short for Kill Them All. KTA is known to beef with Young and Ace's clique ATK. The two groups have been going back and forth, dropping bodies and exchanging diss tracks over the past year as both rappers have went viral. In this bar, Fulio is rapping about
really, bruh. You did not just think of that. You did not just want to call your gang KTA. You just flipped that nigga shit and you know it, bro.
Shooting that went down back in 2018.
Like, why you had to
Ace,
just,
his brother, and two of their friends.
Hit the fuck out my knee just now. But why you ain't had to just be original, bro?
The ATK crew was out to eat at Wasabi, a sushi restaurant on Town Center Parkway in Jacksonville. They were celebrating the birthday of Ace's brother, Trayvon Bullard, aka Quan, who had just turned 18. As they were leaving the restaurant, another vehicle pulled up alongside them and started shooting. Ace was shot 8 times but survived. Everyone else in the car, including Quan and their 2 other friends, were killed. The shooting is rumored to be payback for the murder of Fulio's cousin, Zion Brown. Zion was killed in 2017 after someone broke into his house and shot him and his 2 sisters. The 2 girls survived, but Zion didn't, and a 19-year-old named DeAndre Thomas was later arrested for the murder. At the time of the shooting, Thomas had a warrant out for his arrest that was related to a burglary he committed with Young and Ace. The 2 men tried to rob a weed dealer, and during the break-in, shots went off. Those shots almost hit a couple and a 1-year-old baby. Luckily, no one was hit, but Ace spent a few months in jail while Thomas was out on the run. Zion Brown was Fulio's cousin, and the murder set off a violent war in Jacksonville that continues to this day. It's not clear whether Ace had any involvement in the Zion Brown murder, but with the actual killer behind bars, the KTA crew got revenge by going after the closest thing to him, Young and Ace.
That was crazy.
In the video for this song, news coverage on the shooting can be heard playing during the intro. Fulio takes the disrespect.
This shit. Last video, the nigga said they kill one up, we kill 3 of theirs, we over equal or some shit.
To another level, by rapping next to a printed banner with the 3 victims' faces on it that was also taken from the news coverage.
That would have been.
Plus, the video was filmed at a gravesite.
Imagine if Ace died, bro.
Which many assumed was where the 3 victims were buried. The song and video are pretty savage, but then again, so is the track that inspired the diss, Who I Smoke. So it seems like it's an all-out war between ATK and KTA gangs. It's hard to squash a beef after both sides have lost so many people, and the crews they're affiliated with.
Oh, they got that boy
It's hard to
23.
squash a beef after
I never really seen him like besides in the picture.
both sides have lost so many people, and the crews they're affiliated with have gone back and forth dissing each other's dead homies.
Oh, shit, hold
But in the
on,
world of drill, anything goes, especially in a place as wild as Duval County. But that wasn't the first time a dead op was dissing this beef. In this next bar, Ace talks about one of Fulio's closest friends who was killed before turning 18. He didn't get the chance to see 18. That nigga died a little boy. 400 shots. In this bar, Young and Ace is referencing Fulio's friend Bibby, who was killed at just 16 years old outside of the Hilltop Village apartment.
Hey, somebody sent me a picture, bro. My boy RJ. I couldn't really tell. They said it was him, but they really got a picture of this man. But it was like weird. I didn't really know what I was looking at. I didn't know if he was laying down like this or laying like this. I didn't know.
In February 2019, Adrian
just,
Garner
really
Jr., who also
like,
went by the name Bibby
like,
Osama, was hanging out with a friend at a gazebo outside of the apartment complex when two men jumped out of a vehicle and started firing. Two boys ran in different directions, with Bibby being hunted down and then shot to death as he tried to shield himself. The friend survived, and police later recovered more than 45 shell casings from a rifle. Bibby was close friends with Fulio and had ties to the KTA gang. On the track Bibby's Story, Fulio details his relationship with Bibby and even drops the bar, he was 16 with a body on his belt.
I remember this nigga Big and I said that he didn't even know him for that long, and he was he said he was basically just like doing all that. He ain't even know him for like, he only knew him for like 6 months.
Revealing that despite his age, Bibby was active in the streets. An ATK member who raps under the name K-So was later charged with Bibby's murder. K-So is associated with Young and Ace and is rumored to be his right-hand man and main shooter. Not long after his death, Bibby ended up becoming the Tuka of Jacksonville, with K-So and other KTA-affiliated rappers dissing him on countless tracks. K-So even went as far as using Bibby's image on his album art for the mixtape Bibby Out, along with 5 other dead ops, including Zion Brown. The album cover ended up drawing a lot of attention from local news outlets and police. K-So was eventually charged with the murder after being arrested for the killing of another KTA affiliate. K-So was eventually charged with the murder after being arrested for the killing of
that nigga hair hard. He should have kept that shit. I ain't gonna lie, that shit hard. Yeah.
Another KTA affiliate named Lil Buck. Police were able to get a witness to testify who was in the vehicle with K-So on the day that he allegedly shot Bibby. It's not clear who the witness was, but it's obviously someone close to K-So. He was in the vehicle with the rapper when they allegedly committed the murder, so it can't just be an innocent bystander on the street. One of K-So's co-defendants in the Lil Buck murder also flipped on the rapper and agreed to testify, so it's possible that he decided to give up information on Bibby's murder as well as try to negotiate a deal. Ironically, the police claim that K-So killed Lil Buck because he dissed the rapper's older brother, Boss Goon, who had been murdered earlier that year. Yet, K-So was also the one using his dead ops on his album cover, so it seems pretty wild that he would murder someone for doing the same thing. But then again, in the world of drill, anything goes. K-So was held on a $1 million bond for Lil Buck's murder, which was increased to $3 million after the witness agreed to testify in the Bibby murder. Things are not looking good for K-So, unless he can somehow pull a King Von and convince the witness to refuse to testify. The case is yet to go to trial, and more updates on this story are likely to surface later on.
Wait, Von convinced the witness to refuse? You could do that, bro? What?
If you thought that was crazy, this next bar is about an op who was set up, kidnapped, held for ransom, and then killed,
bro. We already
only
know,
for his body
bro.
to be
This
discovered.
unknown stuff, bro. This why I slick didn't want to watch this, cause he's kind of late on this shit.
A year later, Corbin got kidnapped.
I done heard this story so many times already.
Fulio, Beatbox Remix. Corbin Johnson, aka Spaz Corbin, was an 18-year-old who was associated with the 1200/S4C jump out.
Bro, is S4C? Is that Spaz for Corbin? And is that also for the dude named Spaz that died? Because if it is, that's a hard-ass name, bro. Like, the hard-ass gang name. I thought about that. Like, Spaz for Corbin. That's hard.
Gang from East Jacksonville. Corbin was reported missing by his family on June 11, 2018. Just like Jump Out Squeeze from P4K, on the day he was last seen, Corbin was applying for a job at an Amazon warehouse. Damn. His father told police that he picked up his son from that interview and took him to apply at a UPS store around 5 p.m., then dropped him off at his mother's house around 8 p.m. His mother says that he left the house around 9:30 p.m. and never returned. His father sent him a text the next day, yet Corbin didn't respond. The family reported him missing
Like,
48
imagine if
hours
he
later,
never would've
but the police
left,
didn't have much to go off of. Exactly 1 year later, on July 11, 2019, a man clearing a field on a tractor discovered human remains wrapped in a bag. Police quickly determined that the bones belonged to Corbin, and his death was ruled a homicide. It's been rumored that Corbin was set up by a girl he knew and was kidnapped by a rival crew. They held him for ransom over a drug debt, and when his homies refused to pay what was owed, they killed him and disposed of his body in the woods. There wasn't much evidence to go off of after his body was discovered. It was mostly bones at that point, and no one was ever arrested for the murder. Julio even mentioned the kidnapping on his IG Live, claiming that his worst fear was getting
Bro,
kidnapped
he know
and
better
murdered.
to pull his hair back
Even
like
though
that,
Julio
bro.
was the one mentioning Corbin in his song, it doesn't seem like he had
weak.
anything to do with the kidnapping. He keeps referencing to the killers as they, making it seem like he's just commentating on the situation and wasn't actually taking credit for the hit.
Yeah.
But Julio does seem to suggest that Corbin and Ace were cool, which may have been a possible motive. What seems more likely is that Julio used Corbin's murder to show how wild it can get on the streets of Duval County. But Corbin isn't the only person Julio mentioned in that freestyle. He also dissed a witness who took the stand against two of his homies. Jamar, that's a real rat. Jamar was the name of a witness who put two of Julio's friends, Cracker Jack and JB, behind bars. The case involved the murder of 22-month-old Aiden McClendon, who was accidentally killed in a drive-by shooting in 2016. The victim was in the car with his grandmother and great-grandmother on the east side of Jacksonville when two men started firing shots from a moving.
How young is his family? The grandma don't look old. She look like she's 40. Never mind. That makes sense now. That nigga, the baby was 1. Okay, yeah, okay. But the great grandma too? And then you got the mama? Dang, that's crazy.
Grandmother and great-grandmother on the east side of Jacksonville when two men started firing shots from a moving vehicle. The intended target was the victim's older cousin, 19-year-old Reginald Brown, who was standing on the lawn nearby at the time.
Oh, ain't that my boy Whopper with the top on?
19-year-old Reginald Brown, who was standing on the lawn nearby at the time. The shooters missed and hit Aiden by accident, who was brought to the hospital and pronounced dead later that day.
I never really thought about it.
Jamar happened to be standing nearby and saw the whole thing go down. He took a photo of the two killers, which was eventually used to identify Henry Hayes, aka Cracker Jack, and Kwame Richardson, aka JB, who were both arrested and charged with murder.
Damn, boy, I know
Jamar took the stand against the two men and testified that they were the ones who committed the shooting that killed Aiden.
That nigga hair
Both were
hard
under
right
18
here.
at the time,
I don't know
but
how
were
he
still
got like
sentenced
that.
to
That
life
shit
in prison
tough.
with the
He
possibility of
look crazy
parole
as
after
hell,
25 years. Reginald Williams, aka
Look at that boy
Gucci, is
spin.
affiliated with the
Free my
1200
boy
gang from
Spin,
East
man.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
According to unconfirmed internet gossip, the shooting was retaliation after Ducci tried to shoot at Cracker and accidentally hit his girlfriend's 3-year-old daughter. Cracker and JB tried to get revenge on Ducci and ended up hitting his innocent cousin instead. This case shows how out of control the bloodshed in Jacksonville has gotten. When innocent children start catching strays, it means the violence has reached a point of no return. But when you live that kind of lifestyle, you don't just put yourself in danger, you risk the safety of everyone around you. Cracker Jack and JB were friends of Julio, which is why he disses Jamar on the track. It doesn't seem like Jamar was involved in the streets and just happened to be a witness who saw the whole thing go down. But in a city as wild as Jacksonville, it doesn't really matter. Taking a stand against dudes like that will lead to serious problems, even if you weren't affiliated. So hopefully, Jamar got out of the city after that to protect his own safety. Just like the war in Chicago, it seems like the violence in Jacksonville won't end until all the major rappers either move out of the city to focus on music or end up dead or in jail. Hopefully, some of these artists can take a lesson from Chief Keef and move to the suburbs to play Call of Duty and ride ATVs.
Wait, what?
From Chief on music or end up dead or in jail. Hopefully, some of these artists can take a lesson from Chief Keef and move to the suburbs to play Call of Duty and ride ATVs. But with so much drama going on in the city, it's hard to see an end in sight. If you like this video, check out some of our previous videos. From rappers getting robbed to rappers that ran.
Hey man, that's the end of that video. Make sure y'all tell me what y'all think back in the comments, man. Hit the like button, hit the sub button, man. I'm out, man. Okay.